3.
Human-Assisted Reproductive Technology Storage Amendment Bill, Committee Stage.
I declare the House in Committee for consideration of the Human-Assisted Reproductive Technology Storage Amendment Bill. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker. Point of order, Chris Tremaine.
Chair, I seek leave of the House for the committee stage of the Human-Assisted Reproductive Technology Storage Amendment Bill to be taken as one debatable question with multiple calls.
Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there any objection? There is no objection. The House and Committee on the Human-Assisted Reproductive Technology Storage Amendment Bill. The question is that parts 1 and 2 and clauses 1 and 2 stand part.
Mr. Chairman.
The Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Mr. Chairman, it gives me great pleasure to speak in support of the progress of the Human-Assisted Reproductive Technology Storage Amendment Bill. Having got through the name of the bill that we're currently considering, it does really remind me that the speakers in the previous legislation, had they been confronted with debating a bill called the Human-Assisted Reproductive Technology Storage Amendment Bill, would not have got away with their 20-second calls, because it actually takes longer than that just to say the name of the bill. This is one of those unusual situations where the original legislation, which was the cause of a lot of debate and a lot of serious consideration in this House, was supported, to my recollection, was supported unanimously, and this bill just amends that bill. So we've had the same degree of consideration to this. It hasn't been a party political issue at all, and I was really pleased at the proper consideration that the Select Committee gave it, and I want to pay tribute to the Chair of the Select Committee, Dr Paul Hutchison, and also the other members. I think we all took this issue seriously. I found it quite frustrating on some occasions because there were some really interesting debates that were raised during the submission process, and they were clearly out of scope, but we all wanted to debate them anyway because they were interesting. We restrained ourselves, and I think we should get Gold Star and probably a week's leave because of our chocolate fish. I think, was that in addition to the Gold Star? Right, Gold Star and a chocolate fish for our restraint and not getting into the other issues. But actually, from a serious point of view, it was really important that we didn't open the debate up broadly, because this is a contentious issue, and what we didn't want people to do was have expectations of changes in the overall regime of the human-assisted reproductive technology legislation, rather than just the specific technical amendment that this bill sought to achieve. Mr. Chairman, I have a question, and it is a serious question for the Minister, and I understand that the Minister who's in the chair is an Associate Health Minister. He's got a lot of experience, not necessarily in this specific area, but it's certainly in the health area, rather than the Minister who's in charge of the bill, who is the Honourable Simon Power. So he may not immediately be able to answer this question, but I want to tell him that it is a serious one. And before I put it, I want to ask him to flick through the bill as amended by the Select Committee and reported back to this House. As I say, it's unanimous. This is not a point-scoring exercise. I want to hear the answer to this question from the Minister's perspective, and that is, did we get it right at the Select Committee? From the Minister's perspective, have we now clarified the one single point that this amendment bill sought to clarify? And the reason that I'm concerned about it is that there was no politicking in it, there was no argument about it, we all wanted to get it right, but we've nearly rewritten the whole amendment bill. So if the bill seeks to clarify beyond doubt the situation about the most important, it does other amendments as well, but the most important one is to make clear what the storage period of sperm, eggs and embryos is, and that is important in terms of the requirements for fertility clinics to use them or dispose of them. So Minister, if you could reflect on that question which is the first question I have. Have we got it right? Does this now make it really clear what the storage period is in terms of when it starts and obviously therefore when it will finish? And if it does, the second question is, how did we get it so wrong when the Minister introduced the amendment bill in the first place? What caused such a significant change of opinion between the original bill as introduced and the bill that is now being reported back to the House? I have no doubt at all about not just the sincerity but also the competence of the officials. I think they worked really diligently with a committee that was genuinely interested in the goings-on, with submitters that had no ulterior motive, actually, but to get it right. Some of the submitters had different views about what might have been the outcome. But interestingly enough, of the submissions, Mr. Chairman,
Ruth Dyson.
Mr. Chairman, of the submissions that we received, not a single one opposed the intent of the bill to clarify the 10-year period. So all of the submissions we received either supported or did not oppose the intent of the bill, as I say, in regard to the clarification of the 10-year storage period, and also removed doubt about the roles of the relevant committees in extending the storage limit. That was another quite difficult area for us to work through. The specific role of advisory committees, their mandate, what was it? We sought to clarify that, and also the role of the ethics committees. So in this area, Mr. Chairman, as you would understand, there is a lot of human emotion attached to it. We have a large number of couples now who are unable to conceive other than through IVF treatment, and the importance of the law being clear so that we never ever put a couple in a situation where their expectations about the significant procedure that they're about to undertake are interfered with because of something that is not clear in the law. Having that sort of tension laid on a couple in this situation would actually be totally unacceptable. So, Mr. Chairman, as I said, I would like the Minister to consider that genuine question. I am delighted that the Honourable Simon Power is now in a position that he's relieved himself of his public duties that he was attending to a point that he will now be able to take a call in this debate. And for his benefit, because the battery may have been a little flat on his transistor radio as he walked into the House, I'd like to just repeat what is actually a genuine question, and that is for the Minister who's actually responsible for this legislation. I want, from his perspective, a response to this question: did the Select Committee get it right? We have made substantial deletions and amendments, insertions to this legislation during what was a very rigorous process at Select Committee. Highly competent and attentive officials, members of the Select Committee who paid a lot of attention to the submissions, worked really hard to get it right, and we want it to be right. So I'd like the Minister to say, is he satisfied, having read every amendment that we have made, is he satisfied that the Select Committee is reporting it back in a way that we can be confident that the lack of clarity in the original legislation is now made crystal clear? And the second part of that question, Mr. Chairman, is if we did get it right, why did the bill that the Minister introduced get it so wrong? Because on every page of this bill, well, I'd like, not from the Minister's point of view, I want to know what happens in the process. It is a technical bill, and it seems odd that in every single part of the bill there have been significant amendments. They are either literally amended, or they are withdrawn, or they are replaced. So what happened in that process? Was it because some submitters who came before the Select Committee read the legislation entirely different than the Minister and his officials had read it? They had completely different views about what it meant. We did hear that. Michael Woodhouse, the National List MP, will testify to that, I'm sure. in his contribution. Some submitters had